Where's the worst place you've had sex? Leaning over a sink that contains tuna. So my girlfriend likes to eat raw jalapenos on canned tuna. We had just got home and she says, "Oh my god, I'm so hungry." In unison as I'm saying, "Oh my god, I'm so horny." She says, "Let me eat something and then we'll do it." But I have the idea to FCK with her while she eats. So she opens her tuna over the sink and I'm feeling her up. But then she drops the tuna and her pants at the same time. She bends over the sink and I dive in with glee. As things increase on the rowdy-o-meter, it also increase on the stinkfish-o-meter. Soon we're both aggressively humping our way through an eye-burning fog of tuna smell. She couldn't eat the can afterwards and now I get an erection when I smell tuna. Oh damn it, I wish I didn't have a decent answer to this. So we were both 16 and on our way to the south of France. My mum and sister went by aeroplane, but my mum's partner, my brother, my girlfriend and I all decided the scenic drive down would be more fun. Fun equals 14 hours. I was 16 and dumb. Anyway, my mum's partner is driving. Bro is in the passenger seat up front. Girlfriend and I are in the back. About 8 hours in we decide to lay down for a nap. It was a Land Rover Discovery for size y'all. My 16 years old crotch was rubbing against her butt and in true teenager style I got the horn. Grabbed a sheet to throw over us and then engaged in some of the most stealthy and stupid sex of my life. Culminating in me reaching over to grab some toilet roll from the boot to finish into. All finished. Mission success. Right up until dinner that night when my mum's partner mentions it. Toilet roll and all. Oh. The embarrassment. Visited my then GF's old college grounds late one night. She showed me the sort of prayer grotto they had on the campus. It was a Catholic school. Suddenly she got the great idea to get it on. I wasn't really that into it and wasn't sure I could perform in public, but it was on her bucket list. So we compromised with a BJ. Most awkward, uncomfortable experience. Sort of hunched up on the ground in the bushes and trees. Back painfully against a rock or something. Through sheer willpower I finished. Looked up and it was actually a statue of the Virgin Mary I had been leaning against. Arms spread. Looking down as if to say, WTF, mate? I once banged an ex. We were dating at the time, on a playground at 3 AM in February with snow all over the place. I went soft inside her, but the jury's still out on whether that was psychological or due to the hideous freeze. Worth noting is that once she was aware I was having trouble keeping it up. She blew me and when she was done there was steam coming from my dick. Steaming dick sounds pretty rad though. Lost my virginity on the cold hard floor of a movie theater. Was during Avatar: The Last Airbender. Gave it a good 3 thrusts and then pulled out to finish directly onto the floor. 10/10 would not recommend. Edit. You had a better experience than most people that went to see that movie. In my now wife's old bedroom. I used to sneak into her room via the window and we would go at it every night. Everything would have been fine except one time her mom came banging on the door. Had no time to put my clothes back on so I hid in her closet. Most terrified moment of my life. I'm ass naked, I'm her closet with her mom less than 2 feet away beyond the closet door and she wants to look for some clothes. Long story short, wife, GF of 3 months at a time, managed to convince her that she had Christmas presents in there and she couldn't see them. Oh, and BTW, I had not met her parents yet. Florida swamp. Had to give up due to selfish mosquitoes. The thing about mosquitoes is they stop sucking when you slap them. My friend once engaged in car sex on a quiet country road midday coming home from a camping trip. Except the girl ended up being on her period. Whatever. He'd clean later. And he didn't mind and neither did she. So they're just going at it like animals and she's full on heavy flow. Blood everywhere. It's all over his hands. As he's coming he braces himself on the window and looks up to see a school bus slowly passing by. Children clearly seeing her full on naked as his bloody hand shamefully slides down the window. Depends on what you mean by worst. If you mean most taboo, Probably in a trailer with my girl while we were all drunk with friends. So like 3 other people within 10 feet of us. We were under a blanket. They were all awake but too drunk to notice. Except one. My buddy, who got up and said, "Will you stop having blatant intercourse in front of me so I can get by and take a piss?" We didn't stop. He stepped over us. No one else noticed. Will you stop having blatant intercourse in front of me so I get by and take a piss? That's a good friend. Giant salt pile. Like the kind a city keeps to use when it snows. That was just such a bad decision. I was going to use a throwaway for this. But FCK it. I'm the girl who has had sex in a porta potty. It was at a festival. With a guy I had never met before. And I was stoned and drunk out of my mind. It was all going great until my foot slipped. I touched things that I wouldn't even wish upon my most hated enemies to touch. Edit. Okay, so a lot of people seem to be interested as to what festival this happened at. On the top bunk of my dorm room. We were both kind of drunk. I put her hand on my dick. She started jacking me off until I told her I had to have her then and there. We started humping. But it was difficult with only 3 feet between the mattress and ceiling. It's a miracle we didn't fall out of bed or hit our heads on the ceiling. All of my sex for the past 7 months has been on the top bunk. Going a bit diagonal can help with that issue. Went to a concert with my GF and another couple out of town. We booked a hotel for the night. Got super drunk and left the room with my GF for a second. Came back to zoo noises coming out of our shared room. So doing what 2 reasonable drunk people would do. We started fooling around on a bench. The hotel parking lot bench. Followed by a different more private lot in my car. I didn't notice the security guard walking up with a flashlight. My girlfriend did. However, she sprang up and out of the car and pulled her shorts up. I was wearing polyester pants and couldn't pull them up in my car due to I engorged situation. So I had to get out of the car. Dick first. TL. DR security guard saw my raw hard cork. Beach. Sand in her vagina. It's called a breaded chicken cutlet. In the car on the ferry to Long Island. I was also pregnant. It was cramped and rocking and just black. Every aspect of this comment is just a whole bunch of FCK that. Wait. Once had sex in my car in an empty parking lot. 21 years old. Pretty drunk. Having sex with my ex-girlfriend who was as a stripper by the side of a busy highway at 4:00 AM on top of the hood of a car. The sex was great actually. We didn't get in trouble. But people were honking and yelling. I usually cringe when I think about it. But typing it out now, maybe it wasn't so terrible after all. Probably just not the greatest place to FCK. Edit. Side note. Just thought about it. She would never give me roadhead because it was indecent exposure and could also be exposure to a minor if a child saw. Yet. She let me FCK her in public on a car. Mazera. My GF at the time and I were both sacristans at the church. Didn't have sex on the premises that I remember. But we fooled around some. Worst, best. Story is I totally received a blowjob on the staircase leading up to the choir organ loft. Got her to swallow too cause you can't just defile God's house with spilling semen on his glorious carpeted stairs. In a car at a 4-day country music festival on day 3. It was probably 100+ degrees every day. And none of us used the showers because they were so dirty it would be pointless. Oh. The guy had a cabin really close so had been showering every day. So it was only gross for one of us. Nope. Still sounds like it was gross for both of you. I lost my virginity in a children's playground. Because I was a virgin. I didn't want to make a fool of myself by trying to jab Vlad the Impaler in her to no avail. So, naturally, I told her to mount me. The behemoth climbed aboard the 101 to F-Town and went at it. But the playground was covered in unforgiving wood chips. With every thrust they'd wedge themselves further into my ass crack. But I was a virgin, so there's no way I was going to push her off me, not that I'd be able to. She was a behemoth. Remember? Dot. Anyway. Long story short. I didn't bust a nut. She climbed off of me, sucked my dick, and spewed everywhere on account of her own vile coochie slime. Only later did I find out that had we been caught by the fuzz, I'd be on a sex offender list. Edit. Spelling. Doesn't matter. Had sex. Fitting username. The vomit commit. Hacker that plane that simulates zero gravity. Find. Banned. And the SX is pretty lame in the null grav. BF and I won the bet we wouldn't do it though. A graveyard. Yeah, we called it the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. My asshole. It didn't like it that much. A vagina.